Alright, let's see how the last video did. Oh. Oh. Well, that's a development. Hello, welcome to another video, and I've done it again. I found another anti-woke nutter. But before we get into that, I wanted to say thanks for the overwhelming amount of support I got in the last video. That was insane. Like, I've been watching the analytics over the past few days and it's just kept skyrocketing. It's only just at the time of recording started to level out, and it's at 2.1 thousand views, which is crazy for me. Obviously, with anything positive, you're going to get some negative, but at the end of the day, it's all come to that, and yeah, I just wanted to say thank you. So, now that that's out of the way, let's get on with the video. Haryan is a British YouTuber who describes himself as someone who hates commies and postmodernism. If you don't know what postmodernism means, I'll leave a descriptor just here. Pause the video, have a read through. So Haryan's content, I believe, borderlines the far right after watching some of his videos in regards to his political stance and his views on LGBT people, specifically trans people. Thanks, Haryan. You're going to be quite a journey to get through. I'm going to have fun with this.
Hello everyone. Recently, because one of my hobbies is seeing the things I love dying a death, I've been seeing a lot of Doctor Who talk on my Twitter timeline. Things that are just total cope for the reality that Doctor Who is simply dying.
Jesus Christ, there's another one of these nutters. So, I'm going to use the same screenshot as I used in the Future Movie World Zone video because that's just, it's the same thing. Here are the ratings. Let's prove that Doctor Who isn't dead. There you go. If you want to go on that tangent on Doctor Who's ratings are being faked by Disney, you have absolutely no idea what you're talking about and you genuinely are just a nutter.
As mentioned in my last video on Doctor Who, it was starting to go openly more and more woke.
I just want to put in here and just take the word openly and go focus on that for a second, because you're right, it's gotten more openly woke, because those elements have always been there, the progressiveness has always been there, going right back to the Third Doctor at one of the earliest points, stood up against racism, and in the 70s that was big, and I'm telling you, people probably had an issue with that. If you want LGBT representation, Tegan and Nyssa, they had tension, they had sexual tension, that was open, that was there. Jamie and Tu, they had those as well. It's there. The elements have always been there, but because of Tory government, because of the things going on in the UK and the world right now, and the American government doesn't make it any better, because of those, the issues are only just being brought to the front. It's had to become more and more open, because there's nothing else to combat the idiocies of the right when it comes to demonising people that are different to the stereotypical, openly straight white lifestyle that there is now. And yeah, that's a problem, because you can't progress in the world if you're going to be focused and idolised on this one ideal. You've got to be open, you've got to be accepting, because if you don't, the entire world will just come crashing down, because you can't stay stuck in the past, because then you'll never see the future.
So, let's look at some clips from the last David Tennant special. Clips that are essentially putting a gun to the back of Doctor Who's head.
Okay, Harry, and I'm kind of interested too. What's putting a gun to Doctor Who's head?
Yes, that what is pretty much how I think every hardcore Doctor Who fan reacted when they found out about bi-generation.
So a new idea is what's putting a gun to Doctor Who's head. Oh, okay. So I can explain bi-generation very, very, very quickly in the whole concept and what I think actually happened. The tiny little theory. So the toy maker, as if you've already watched the specials, know, can mess with reality. He's a being from outside reality. So the toy maker's influence could have interrupted the regeneration and brought the myth of bi-generation into reality. I'm personally quite shocked over the twist as well, but not in the same sense as Gladiv is. I'm shocked as in what could happen next. What does this mean for the future? This is the only bi-generation that's going to happen. What about the Masters? Did he bi-generate? All of these questions. Is the Doctor the first being to ever bi-generate? And does the bi-generation also come from the idea that the Doctor is a timeless child? All of these things could connect in. You don't know, so you can't straight up shit on it, which I believe is exactly what he's doing.
Why has Russell T Davies gone so mad? And the answer is simply incentives. Everyone in media who writes shows and all that, they're incentivized to go madder and madder and madder with their writing because they are told it doesn't really matter, people like the quirky things, and as long as you're woke, who really cares?
Do I have to add it back? Are you sure I can't just redirect? No, they won't read. Okay. So, people, the definition of woke. Here we go again. It's to alert the injustice in society, especially racism.
And I'm not even going to be joking here, I'm speeding this up by 4 times. This is a full 2 minutes of the Doctor just bi-generating and having a whole camp moment about it. Going, oh wow, look at this, isn't this great? There are 2 Doctors now, ha. Yeah, the whole time, the toy maker's in the background, still with his oversized gun, not shooting anyone.
It's not like this is the first time this has happened. I'm going to take you to Doctor Who Series 1, the Christmas special, the Christmas Invasion, David Tennant's first episode. I'm going to play the whole clip for you, unedited.
Mickey, hello! And Harriet Jones MP for Fly Down North. Blimey, it's like this is your life. Tea! That's all I needed. Good cup of tea. Superheated infusion of free radicals and tannin, just the thing for heating the synapses. Now, first things first. Be honest. How do I look?
Different.
Good different or bad different?
Just different.
Am I ginger?
No, you just sort of brown.
Yeah, I wanted to be ginger. I've never been ginger. And you, Rose Tyler, fell how good you were. You gave up on me. Oh, that's rude. So that's what man I am now. No, rude. Rude and not ginger. I'm sorry, who is this? I'm the Doctor.
He's the Doctor.
Well, what happened to my Doctor? Or is it a title that's just passed on? I'm him. I'm literally him. Same man, new face. Well, new everything. But you can't be. Harriet Jones. We were trapped in Downing Street, and the one thing that scared you wasn't the aliens, wasn't the war. It was the thought of your mother being on her own. Oh, my God. Did you win the election? Landslide majority.
If I might interrupt.
So if you don't know why I put that there, let me just dumb it down for you. It's the same argument. It's the same length. I've cut a tiny little bit out at the front because that's what the clip did originally. The Doctor does tell the Cigarettes to wait because he's busy, but it's the same thing. The Cigarettes has no idea who this is. The Cigarettes could just ignore the Doctor and go attack him. Simple as that, but he doesn't. He just stands around and listens for about a minute and a half while the Doctor just goes and rants to to everyone about his new regeneration and reintroduces himself. So if you want to put that argument for the 60th, there's the same argument for that. But no one had a problem with that. No one had a problem with that. So why have a problem with this about the 60th? I'll tell you why. Because it's something new, a brand new concept. And how dare anything be new in this day and age?
And to those of you who haven't seen this at this point and are thinking, wait a minute, but how is this going to work now? There is only one TARDIS, I guess one of them is going to stay on Earth. No, Russell T Davies had an answer for that too.
We won the game. You get a prize, honey.
Again, apologies to all long-term Doctor Who fans there. Yes, that scene hurts me just as much, and I look exactly like David Tennant there when I first saw this clip.
I will admit, I'm not a fan of this either. Having David Tennant's Doctor stay on Earth would have been so much better, and it's taken away the TARDIS, takes away the Doctor's chance to just run away again. So we're going to take a quick look at a live stream that he did about Doctor Who and about how it made him transphobic. Great! Let's have a look.
Yes, this is the big dead naming scene.
Jason,
oh, give us a kiss. I mean, I'm not a trans person. I do know trans people. I've dead named trans people.
So your whole schmidt is that you hate trans people and you laugh about dead naming trans people. Thank God you don't know mine. Honestly, why? I don't see the point. You're laughing at it, acting as if it's not a big deal. But if someone goes around, starts calling you Hariyama, oh, you're Hariyama Gladevi, you're going to be pissed off if that's happening every single day, every single time that person interacts with you, and you're going to want to cut them off. It's the same with trans people. Another example, if you got married and someone calls you your before married surname and then refuses to listen to you when you keep correcting them, eventually you're going to get pissed off.
It is crazy to me how this seems to be like the biggest problem they run into. You know, people misgendering them or calling them by a name they don't want to be called by. And yeah, I get it. It comes across as rude. And a lot of the time when I do it, it's supposed to be because I don't like the people.
And you've proven my point. There you are. You've proven my point right there. Oh, my days. You know, people like you are exactly what's wrong with society. Like, refusing to accept, refusing to look forward, the downright refusal to accept anything that's not your idea of society. The biggest problem which trans people face is not the misgendering, it's not the dead name, it is the refusal to admit that we exist, the refusal to admit something different. Like, look at the Brianna Jai case. She was murdered because she was trans. It's not the biggest problems we face every single day. And yeah, you're right, you don't understand it. But why does that give you the right to be a complete arsewipe about it?
You know, in reality, yes, this is obviously a bad thing to do. It's just, it's so... I don't know if forced the right word anymore because it's so expected that I don't know if it is forced. And as I say, it probably is a somewhat realistic depiction of it.
It's not somewhat realistic. It is realistic. It's what happens, and all Doctor Who is doing is showing that that's what happens. That's all that scene is there for. That scene is just to show awareness, to show support for the trans community, something which media doesn't really do that often, especially news medias and things like that. They always demonise us and say, oh, we're paedophiles, we're going to indoctrinate your children. And honestly, that indoctrination thing is so funny to me because of how Christianity is nowadays. The far-right Catholics are just such a joke.
Can't remember the character name, but Donna's mum. And she's like, oh, am I supposed to say she's a gorgeous girl, or is that sexist? Oh, I don't know anymore.
She actually asks if that's right, so she doesn't upset someone that she loves. Because why would you want to upset someone that you love on purpose? Because if you want to upset them, you don't really love them.
Anyway, Rose apparently has the Doctor's memories as well, so starts deactivating the mind control stuff, saying Doctor Who's type things, like fine in terms of Doctor Who, but this is where everything starts to get a bit confusing of how the mechanics of this work. So yeah, this is the binary non-binary bit.
So in terms of the meta-crisis passing down, that makes sense biologically. The meta-crisis is a part of Donna, so it'll go down to Donna's daughter. Oh, and now we've got to a bit where I think you're going to have you're going to make an entire joke about this, aren't you? Right, okay, cool.
With this one, it's obviously, trans people are all, like, perfect, despite the amount of them that turn out to be paedophiles.
You absolute idiots. Right, A, no, trans people are not perfect. They're just exactly the same as everyone else. And B, in America, since February of last year, there has been 4 reported cases of trans paedophilia. In about 500, 600 reported cases, the majority of them being from pastors, from teachers, from police officers, from Republicans. They're the problem. For paedophilia, anything like that, only 4 of them were trans. One of them was the trans victim, and 0 drag queens. So right there, the statistics are there, screaming at you in the face, but because of your bigotry, you refuse to see it.
Everyone knows this bit. So you've gone from the Doctor's trans to saying the Doctor has a penis and therefore just can't let go, because the Doctor's making out that the arc of these specials is going to be, we need to get rid of the Time Lordness out of you, otherwise it's going to kill you in 5 years rather than 5 seconds. And they just go, oh, Doctor, you don't understand. We're women.
Silly man. Yes.
I think the funniest part is that they say you're male presenting.
Yes.
And it's like
a male presenting Doctor would never understand.
Right, I've got my problems with this bit as well. I honestly believe it sends the wrong message. Yasmin Finney's a trans woman. She should have voiced this, and they should have cut it out in production. It doesn't work. And I'll agree, the entire idea of just letting it go is so boring. And it was such a cop-out. But I'm just going to agree with you on the male presenting Time Lord comment. I don't think that should have been it. It sends the wrong message, and it basically fueled the anger of the right. So that's all we've got time for in today's video. But remember, everyone, you have to be cis, straight people in order to be accepted into society. Because if you are not, then you are disgusting and horrendous. Yeah, this guy's just no more of a joke than Boris Johnson and anyone else in the Tory government.